Welcome to Nordic Market News, Friday, October 28th. This program is brought to you by News Agency Direct in Stockholm, Sweden, on behalf of Infront. Looking at the stock market index of the Nordic countries, pre-trade indicated a downward trend, and after a few hours of trade, all countries are struggling. Helsinki 25 minus 0.4%, OMXS 30 in Stockholm minus 0.5%, OSCBX in Norway minus 0.6%, Copenhagen 20 minus 2.5%, and the overall index Nordic 40 minus 2.4%. In Denmark, Novo Nordisk falls hard on today's trade after another prognosis revision. Both with this year's growth and operating result, as well as long-term looking forward, Novo believes the EBIT growth will be closer to 5%. Earlier this year, in February, Novo revised their prognosis from 20% to 10%. The operating result for the third quarter just about exceeded the market expectations, 12.4 billion Danish kroner, compared to expected 12.2. The Novo stock has dropped 18% on the Copenhagen Stock Exchange this morning. Danske Bank, on the other hand, is giving their shareholders good news. The Q3 pre-tax result was 1.45 billion Danish kroner. Increased activity among customers is one of the key factors to the solid Q3 report, and the stock is, however, still dropping on Copenhagen Exchange today, down 1.5%. Over to Finland, Lindex and real estate is still pulling Stockmann forward, but retail continues to pose a challenge. This is announced in the Stockmann Group Q3 report, coming in at almost 3 million euro in an operating profit compared to 11 million loss of Q3 of last year. The department stores in Russia are as good as discontinued, according to the report, and the newly appointed CEO, Lauri Veijalainen, says Stockmann will continue to focus on the core operation, meaning Lindex, real estate and Stockmann retail. In Sweden, an ample stream of reports this morning. Swedish Match, SSAB, Eniro, Electrolux, Skanska and NCC are some of the key companies to present their Q3 reports. Looking at Eniro, the company is risking reconstruction. The company loans are too massive, negotiations with the 6 different banks is not going well, and new CEO Örjan Frid believes they could fall out altogether. The board recommends to drop dividend to shareholders for next year, and after the first hour of trade, Eniro has dropped 20% on Swedish Stock Exchange. On the other side of the scale, Sweden large cap Electrolux exceeds pre-report expectations. Operating result for Q3 was 20% above same period of last year, coming in at 1.8 billion Swedish kronor compared to last year's 1.5 and expected 1.7. 4 out of the 6 trade sectors for Electrolux reached an operating margin of 7%. However, the company is still adjusting their prognosis for the North American market from demand of 4 to 5% to 3 to 4%. In Norway, the oil service company Aker Solutions reports an EBITDA of 477 million Norwegian crown for Q3, compared to expected 470 million and 520 for last year. Turnover was 3.5 billion Norwegian kroner, and the market prospects for oil services is good, trending upwards, according to the report. And finally, retail consumption decreased in Norway in September. It dropped 0.3%. The expected percentage was an increase of 0.3%. And finally, to some US large caps. Amazon, Google, and Apple has reported their third quarter this week. Amazon and Google within the last day. Google's parent company Alphabet reported a solid third quarter, where Google stood for the main part of the sales and profit. Turnover increased with 20% since Q2 of this year. Adjusted result per share was $9.06. Amazon, on the other hand, is struggling somewhat, coming in at a Q3 result of 52 cents per share compared to expected 78. Turnover was $32.7 billion as consensus expected, but the company's stock drops 7% on the US post-trade. That was the headlines for today's program. We will be back again next Friday with a summary of the Nordic market news. Thank you for watching.